Hey everybody, it's 8 or 9 o'clock at night. It's been stupid hot. I'm in shorts because it's 80 some degrees in the shop. I had to turn the fans off. We used to try and cool and get the hot air out so you could hear me. And I did a little video on the 38 here a while back, and one of the guys says, hey, I think your new cover may be a 48. Because he read something in Palmer's. Like, that's so accurate. So I said, well, we'll do a little investigation and we'll see what's up. So what we have here is our 38 original paint knucklehead. All indications on this machine is motor's been rebuilt. It's got a busted fin with some paint on it. At some point, I have no idea how many times. The speedo says, like, that's always so accurate, 69,000 miles. I have not date coded this speedo. Everybody assumes when they get original paint that it must be the miles on the speedo. Original owner, he's never saying nothing. Oh yeah. Here's the reality. I got a letter, which is on the YouTube somewhere, from Harley after the war, going, we didn't want the Stuart Warner sent to us anymore. Just send them straight to Stuart Warner, which means they're breaking that much. They didn't last very long. They broke a lot. Harley doesn't even want them back. Send it to Stuart, let them deal with it. So, anyhow, the contention was this. What's up with your NOS kicker cover when it's got date codes on it? According to Palmer's, it has no date coding. Well, this one here, as far as we can tell, this is same bike, you know, top end at least been off, but the bike's never really been apart as far as like down to the bare frame, that sort of stuff, from all indications I can tell. And certainly for a period of time it got set for the point in time where it's going to be destroyed by the wet, and the tanks go and the wheels go and all that. This little brake light switch was obviously on there. We obviously have a repair on the original chrome crossover piece, but it's got 70,000 miles on that speedo. How many miles did it have before that speedo? Huh? Somebody's rebuilt that speedo and it's damn accurate right now. So it didn't run perfectly accurate for 69,000. We don't know what they reset it to when they rebuilt it. So anyhow, this kicker has no casting marks of year, date code, nothing. Now you have to understand, all that is a foundry mark. They didn't have this thing in writing, must have this, only use that. That's a myth created by Palmer. That's not how it worked. Now this is how it really worked. The part number, we have a couple little parts books here. For this little piece, we're going to go over a few bikes. Let me find it. Here's the parts book right here, and we are looking at this right there. It's in front of the camera. You see that? That's the part number, -36. -36, well, they were, you know, as I said with the Eaton caps, -35 part number, blah, blah, blah. There's approximate year of usage. They certainly had experimental knuckleheads in 35. You can see, if you look really carefully on this here, I don't know if I got the right light to see it, but if you put in the right light, I had it on a flashlight. This is like a photographic picture copy of this here. You can see a little raised embossing. This is the breather. This was used, as far as I'm aware, 239, and 40 came out with a later case. There's a big giant 0 in the back of a 40 case. And here's the part. Here, it comes separate from the kicker. Separate from the kicker now. It's right there. And I can't find this part for a price anywhere in this book. I looked. Now this book I'm looking in is Spare Parts of 1941, dated January 1st, 1947. You follow? spare parts through 1941. That's dated 1947. Well, that tells me something happened between 42. I'm sure the war had something to do with it. Welded parts. That the 41 earlier stuff and the 42 later stuff are different. But as we discussed with Champ over there, it's a mid-year change when this stuff happened. Well, they came out with the early 42, or, you know, they did that stuff. We know in later years what they did in the early stuff, mid-year change. I don't know. I don't have all the books. I don't know if anybody that, if they got all the books, they ain't saying nothing. So this is going off of my literature, my original books, my original bikes, what I can see. So this is what I know at this time. So what we're going to go to this one here is important. The spare parts book catalog for 1948. Now the drawings are pretty accurate. Right here, you can see the little kicker here. You can see the earlier 45, 46 plastic type kicker. You can see the rubber, two little kickers here. There's no little raised embossing on this drawing. This book here, spare parts catalog specifically for 48. That's 36, 37 to 48. You follow? So they started amalgamizing stuff, bringing it all together. Same part number. Now here in this drawing here, you can see the raised bossing on the kicker. Now, in mid-54, absolute for a fact, had the bike, had the documentation, they went to a straight leg frame. They went to the later style, late 54 to 64 style pan case, which is a venting through the top of a big tall screw. It was right up in here. After 39, they vented through a raised bossing on the tranny, starting in 40 to mid-late 54. They changed the tranny case. They went to the trumpet horn then, bunch of changes in late 54. So we have another little parts book here. This is 52 to 61. Right there, you see? 52 to 61. Same drawing, more or less, but it doesn't have the early plastic type kicker. And now we have a bolted on kicker. This is a change in 54 here. Bolted on style. And where'd it go? Lost it. It was here a minute ago. I looked up into that page. Let me find the. Well, here you go. You got the little insert here with the case, and that case was not used here after 54. It's showing that, but this here is 36. 52 to 61. They certainly had that tranny case in 52. There's another view of it. Where did it go? There was a view of it. I'm looking for it. Pooh. Should have marked the page. This stuff is not always in the order you think it should be in. Now I can't find it. Figures. Anyhow, it's here somewhere. Somewhere over the rainbow. Yeah. I can't find it anywhere. It's showing the early vent here on this here. Again, that's the early one. That's totally different tranny case. In other words, they're going to have the all this stuff at the same part numbers through the continuum. My point is this. We're going to go look at some bikes right now. And a transmission case. The point is this. First off, you can't go by the casting number on the foundry as to what year it was on. It's an indication of what year it might have been on. And second off, as they made stuff, if I bought a new kicker cover for my 38 Knucklehead and I walked in, it's the same part number. Unless the old boys got one in stock from 38, what I got is 1948's version. Well, this is the transmission here out of Mr. Bill, motor number 10,294. You can see the little vent here, raised boss there, no machining. You can see here there's nothing down there, and we have a number here or letter which appears to be 0, and there's another one in the back. See if I can even get that on camera or not. That is definitely a 7. It's in the back. I can get the right angle on camera. Right in there. That is a 7. Here's our Dash 36 in the wrapper with a upside down casting, totally upside down J8. It's not even angled the same. With these numbers here on the bottom. 33-352. Upside down with a machining here. The only way this got made would have been in late 38 or possibly through the 39 year. It would not have been machined after that. So the J8 is an approximate casting date, not the day of use. So that makes this a late 38 or 39 cover, in my opinion. Let's go over to our 47 here. This bike's never been apart. This is a 6007 motor number. We have nothing at the bottom, and we have here at the top, if I can get this on camera or not, an L. Well, Harley Davidson used a number code on their motor numbers, HO being 70, H9 being 79, JO is 80, and then they went to 1HD1 sequence in 81, which 81, the letter that gives it the year is B. But AMF and Harley Corporate are not Harley Davidson when the founders are still alive. They did their own stuff, and this is foundry numbers. This is a foundry number. So, a buddy of mine has a 36 with an unknown timing cover across the top, on the side of it. So whoever was Harley's foundry, either A, it was in-house, or B, it was across the street. Because they ran across the street, or wherever it was for their foundry, and said, oh, well, let's try one of these timing covers. We'll see how that works. The entire Knucklehead line was experimental. They had running changes throughout. Not even all the frames that I know about are in the Magic Palmer book that knows all. He's so fucking smart in his stupid ass book that everybody wants to take for the Bible. I'm going to put the camera on this tripod so I can talk on camera without talking behind it. I'm going to tell you my little opinion. Let's go over and look at these little bikes here. And we're going to take a look at the kicker covers. Okay. Now this is my little opinion. It takes a lot of work and a lot of time to write a book. Any fool with a computer or a typewriter can write a book. Some books are very accurate. Some books are so full of nonsense you wonder how did this idiot even get his shit in print? Well, Palmer's neither. He's a smart enough man. unfortunately, he has a little handicap. He's been in a wheelchair for a very long time, which gives him the time to write a book. Unfortunately, he's getting his information second and third hand. And unfortunately, a lot of the information that people are giving him, he's ignoring. It says right there in his frame thing, it says, yes, a frame is the most important thing to a restoration. And then he says, according to existing invoices, the casting numbers are blah, 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 blah. Well, the invoices he had access to were at the very least 352 fucking invoices I got that don't have any casting numbers on it. It's a foundry mark. It's not going to be on an invoice. So he lied to you to make his book more coherent and believable. Mistake one. Mistake two, he's so smart, he calls a 1940 frame, which is at least two, possibly three, a 41 frame. When you can't even get your frame straight, how accurate is the other stuff? This is an important thing. This is the frame of the motorcycle, and he can't even get his frame straight. He finally puts in the late 37 frame, totally ignores the very first 37 frame and the very late 36 frame. Not there. Not there. Not there. So in 38, what we know for sure, two different frames, two different forks, two different gas tanks, two different gas tank decals, two different motorcycles, two different sets of heads, completely different bike, early and late 38. How many other changes were there? Well, the 2,900 or so 38s that were built are no longer with us. That's the problem with all this stuff. Most of it's gone. So we only have a very small smidgen of it what's left. And most of that is no longer in the United States. And them people don't speak English. You got it? So, at least I got a couple here. We're going to run around the room. Go look at some other stuff. And what I find irritating is I get over and over again, wow, Palmer says. It's like, dude, he wrote a book. It ain't a Bible. Here's our 42F. Again, no marking on the bottom. And that looks like a 1 right there. And I can't make out, I cleaned this, go back over it again, what is behind the kicker spring. Unfortunately, to figure that out, I got to pull the whole kicker off and clean that. One day, hopefully, we'll get to this motorcycle. So let's go over to Greenie here, one of our 240s. Now we got history on this one, the 42F, we got history since new. The Greenie, we have history since the early 70s. It's definitely a 40 case. And here we have a 0 here. Again, no bottom piece there. I can't make that out in the back on none of these other ones. Then we're going to go over to our 40 cop bike, have a look. And we have, appears to be a 6 or a G. And I can't make that out what that other piece is. Maybe some of you guys with better eyesight can see that. And we got our 41 FL. Now our cop bike we got history on since new. The Speedo says 50-some thousand. Things break. I wasn't there when the man rode the motorcycle. Neither were any of you on any of these bikes. This type of information is only found on existing motorcycles which are used. It's not in an invoice. It's not in any Harley documentation. So we've got our 41 FL. I have history on this bike since new. And we have what appears to be a 0. So chances are that bike came with that kicker cover. Chances are Greenie came with that kicker cover. I have no explanation for the kicker cover on the cop bike. Things break. Chances are the kicker cover came on the 42F. Speedo says 20-some thousand, which is broken. And here we have our 46. An indication on this bike is that the motor and tranny never been out of the machine. I can assume it had a top end at one time. I don't know. And I cannot read what that says. And this is the only one that has that kicker numbers on the bottom. Now my assumption is these numbers here on the bottom, we know for a fact that that kicker cover in the wrapper is not a mounted on a motorcycle machine part. It's a replacement part. That's why it's a brand new part in a wrapper. And we know for a fact that Harley Davidson would often, when they remade parts to be replaced when people broke their stuff, made them a little different so the dealer could tell whether it was replaced or not. Case in point, we've got Greeny's fork here. Everybody's like, what's it doing with a welded fork? Well, I don't know. Let's figure it out. So what we got is a welded fork, original paint fork on this beautiful original paint machine that has, again, which we discussed before, no Zert bosses right there. And what that is, and this is right in Palmer's book, that is the Harley Davidson replacement leg for when you snapped your leg and they replaced it under warranty. So that's a war era replacement. For all the indications which I've discussed before on this beautiful green bike is that it was a used bike that I believe got traded in. It has indications of sidecar use. There are scratches down here for sidecar for the mount. That's what this line is right here. That's a sidecar scratch. Has a date-coded 46 Speedo. Has this wear a replacement relay. So I think it got used as a sidecar bike, but it was still in very nice condition. And the dealer traded it in, and the guy bought it, loved it, took care of it. And the guy who traded into Wayne Pierce's dealership in DeKalb, Illinois, was the nephew of the person who bought it used after the war in 46. Vehicles were extremely hard to get in 46 and 47. They were running massive material shortages. They could not produce the amount of bikes that people wanted. We've experienced stuff like that in recent days. 3-year wait for Harley Davidson in the 90s in some areas of the country. 3-year wait. 3-year wait. So sometimes they couldn't produce what the market demanded in 46 and 47 was part of that. So original paint bikes don't lie. The invoices don't lie. Casting numbers are not on there. I have the invoices. I have the original invoices. And the parts books, the original parts books don't lie. And the part here in the wrapper don't lie. So this is my opinion. We obviously know it's not a mounted on a motorcycle part. It is a replacement part. It's in the wrapper. Hello. Was it machined at the time for an early bike, pre-40? Well, yes, it was. That's why it's got that little piece there. If it was later, especially if it was a post-war deal, it's so sad, too bad you got today's part. Deal with it. You wouldn't have that. So could you get it in, say, 40 or 41? Well, yeah. 46 or 7, probably no. So that there indicates, in my opinion, no proof, but we have another piece there on our 46, that is a Harley Davidson replacement kicker cover. The chance of me finding some literature that says that, I would be amazed. That's not something they would have written down even in a letter. They just would have sent the piece off. Might have been in a shop dope. Now that's possible. I got a giant book of shop dopes that I've never read. Huge stuff. I got a massive literature pile that I still got to go through and sort. So anyways, that is my opinion on that kicker cover. It is a era 38, 39 replacement kicker cover. Now this bike here, I don't know if I'll use that NOS one or not. I bought it because it was at the moment. Grant had it. It was at Wasion. I knew he had it. I didn't know he was going to Wasion. So he shows up. It's like, oh, man, I just better just shut up and buy it. This particular one here has one thread left. So either I got to weld an insert in or machine an insert and fix it, or I get to use a brand new kicker cover. And I still don't know if there's any cracks in it. These things crack on the inside all the time. Now, 36 and 37 have machining here, right here, so you put a cork. My understanding, and this is rumor, other people have told me, is that in 38 they no longer did that. But I don't have this apart. You follow? I can't see what's under that kicker arm. So when I pull that apart, I can confirm that rumor or not. But at any rate, this is certainly, all indications are a replacement kicker cover, which it's in the wrapper. It's brand new. So of course it's a replacement kicker cover. Well, hello? That's why it's brand new in the wrapper. Yes, indeed. And it's got this little magic mark that are non-existent on all our other bikes except for our 46, which means the 46 kicker cover got replaced at one time. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is my opinion of the night, and I will see you on the next video.